Welcome to the Black Marriage and Family Therapy Matters podcast, where we connect Black families to Black therapists. On Mondays, you will receive direct therapeutic support from a licensed therapist or professional connected to the mental health field. They will provide therapeutic and educational resources to help you have a healthier relationship with your family members. On Wednesdays, you will receive direct tips and resources to help you get through the stuck places that prevent many people from having the relationships with their families and significant others that they desire. On Fridays, we want you to visit our blog, which can be found at www.blackmftmatters.com, which holds additional resources and action steps that you can begin implementing immediately to improve your relationships. This is necessary because we love that you are listening, but we want you to take action too. While you are there, please grab our A to Z Relationship Bootcamp and be provided with the skills you need to immediately communicate better within your relationships. Please note that while the therapists on podcasts are therapists, they do not serve as your therapist unless you have signed a confidential agreement with them confirming that relationship. Thank you in advance for listening, and we hope you are inspired. All right, it's time for the show. Here is your host, Dr. Connie Omari.
Hey, welcome to the Black Marriage and Family Therapy Matters podcast, where we connect Black families to Black therapists. All right, guys, I want to introduce you today to our awesome guest named Patricia Brower. Hi, Patricia.
Hi.
How you doing?
I am well.
Very good. Is it okay if I introduce you to our audience today?
Most definitely.
Awesome. The desire to inspire is a passion that describes local author Patricia Brower. Inspiring others is something she enjoys and feels destined to do. The North Carolina native has been writing poetry, plays, books, and short stories for over 20 years. She is a 1992 graduate of Winston-Salem State University right here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. There, she received a Bachelor's of Science degree in accounting and was employed with the North Carolina State for 16 years. Upon leaving the North Carolina Department of Revenue, in 2009, she continued her writing career and is an avid volunteer throughout her community. She has written 5 books, of which 3 have been published. Her first book, Edifying Expressions, was published in 2003 and is a collection of inspirational poetry. Written during a time that she was facing painful life experiences and escaped to her place of peace through writing. As she maneuvered through life, she faced an overwhelming diagnosis of MS in 2004. During the diagnosis, she once again turned to her writings and found solace in her faith in God and used writing as therapy. Wow, I love that.
Yes.
In 2006, she published Daily Mercies Revealed Part 1, which is a daily devotional that candidly shares her thoughts and experiences with God over different situations, and she reflects upon the pain and life lessons learned on this journey. These thought-provoking entries are completed in her third book, published in 2008 and entitled Daily Mercies Revealed Part 2, as she sums up her life through daily devotions of encouragement and hope. Currently, she is working on developing her own line of greeting cards and publishing her 4th book on forgiveness and releasing the pain and anger from your life.
Yes.
Finally, being free and embracing forgiveness at all costs. She was challenged with writing this book because she had to release unforgiveness from her life as well.
Yes.
This book is destined to change lives and set people free once they totally surrender to God. She has been married to Gregory for 24 years and they reside in Raleigh, North Carolina. They have the humbling task of helping nurture 2 of her nephews, Darius and Spencer. That is so impressive.
Thank you.
Before we continue, I just want to make sure I honored your name correctly. Is it Patricia Brower?
Yes,
correct?
it is Patricia Brower.
I couldn't remember if I was saying Brower or Brower. All right, let's give her respect.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, so Patricia,
yes,
you write about forgiveness.
Yes.
That is important.
Yes, it is very important.
Can you tell our audience a little bit about why?
Because you can't live a life that is tarnished with unforgiveness because it hinders every aspect of your life. You may think you can live and just go on in life holding on to the bondage of unforgiveness, but you can't. You have to release it for yourself.
Why can't we?
Because it is dangerous and it can affect every aspect of your life. I mean, you can't just go around holding on to unforgiveness because you can't do anything else. I mean, because it controls every aspect of your life. Yeah. It really does.
It does. It does. So a lot of times I think I'm pushing it because I think a lot of times we think of forgiveness and unforgiveness like it's related to our relationships. But can you store unforgiveness like in different areas of your body or in different relationships that you have with other people?
Yeah, I think there's actually studies that prove that harboring unforgiveness result in health challenges. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the name of the studies, but I do know that there have been studies done.
Right. Well, there's certainly some connection to stress levels and just different things that you experience internally, mentally, and the influence on your health.
Yes.
So that makes a lot of sense. So, what do you wish our community knew about forgiveness?
Wow, that forgiveness is definitely a process. It's not like you're going to wake up one day and say, oh, I forgive you, and that's the end of it. You have to do the work and just work through your feelings, seek professional help, and,
Very good.
just seek help from others.
Good. And for reading your book. Don't want to underestimate that. But I do want to know, Patricia's not a therapist, but she said that she's used writing as therapy. And that's one of the reasons why I was really drawn to her, because one of the exercises that I provide my clients on a regular basis is writing.
Wow.
Yes, we do a lot of journaling. We do a lot of creative art therapy. So can you tell us a little bit more about how writing has been therapeutic for you?
Yes, just a place of peace for me, because I can go to a place where I can block everybody else out, and I'm just there with my feelings, and I can just write, whether my feelings are right, wrong, or indifferent. I mean, nobody's judging me because I'm just there with my writing.
It's interesting that you say that, because I've always liked writing, especially if I have to say something difficult, like sometimes even to my husband, because if I say it, it's out there. It's done. I can't take it back.
I can relate.
But, yes, but if I send him like an email, they got to delete, they have copy paste, all these different features that make me more effective in my communication. Yes. So, yes, it is a process. Is there anything in particular that you think makes the process more challenging?
Denial, I would say, is one. You have to admit that you are harboring unforgiveness before you get help. I mean, if you are not admitting that you're hating someone or you have animosity against someone, then it's hard for you to get the help that you need.
That's true.
So the first thing is just embracing the truth that you need help.
That is so true, because, and I think especially in the Black community, sometimes if you admit negative feelings, it might be associated with weakness.
Yes.
There may be something wrong with you.
Yes.
I didn't think about it like that before we had this conversation.
Yes. And then too, I think that we like to sweep stuff under the rug.
Yes.
Especially in families, it's like we don't deal with stuff, and we just sweep it under the rug and say, well, if I don't deal with it, then I don't have to deal with it. But eventually it will come back in one form or another.
I hope you don't mind we speaking about this. You mentioned like when you graduated and stuff from college, so it might be a little noticeable already, but we tease each other about the generational gap that we have.
Yes.
And which is interesting because we still came together and we get this thing popping. So yes, but I'm mentioning that now because one of the things that I find is maybe people my generation, right, millennials, or late millennials, whatever, or even earlier millennials, might have an issue with a parent. Right. And some unresolved issue. And that's why I think it's also important generationally, because a lot of times a parent will respond in a condescending way. Yes. In a way that they say something like, well, I did the best I could, or that's what happened to me. I did, that's all I know. And they don't realize that that's not validating their child, their offspring. So in terms of just getting to terms with like forgiveness, that it makes it harder to forgive, would you say, when you're saying, ouch, this hurt, and the person is kind of, like you said, brushing it under the rug. Yes. Like it don't matter.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice? Because we have older people that are going to be listening to this too.
Wow.
And how can an older person put their pride aside?
That's
right,
true.
right. Because I as a mother, and you're also a parent too. And when you take care of your, we make mistakes.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And we hurt our children that we love.
Do.
You know,
Yes,
so
we do.
but we have to provide a safe space for forgiveness to occur so that we can have authentic relationships.
Yeah, I would just say keep the lines of communication open the best you can. I mean, there is no manual that says, okay, you do this, and that before you forgive. You just have to be open to receiving the person's forgiveness and extending forgiveness because we, like you said, we all have our crosses to bear and we all have, to accept forgiveness and extend forgiveness. We can't just say it's just you, it's not me. And we just have to just try our best and put forth the best effort that we can because it, like I said, it's a process. And in that process, you have to work hard at extending and receiving forgiveness.
Absolutely.
And it's like I said, it's not an overnight thing. You can't just wake up one day and say, okay, I forgive you. It's gone. And you got to talk about it and you got to discuss it and you have to just be open to receive.
I love that. I'm trying to think of what you said too. Not only do we need to forgive, but we also have to extend forgiveness.
Exactly.
And I guess we can add to that also receive forgiveness.
Yes.
Because sometimes or we do things rather, and it offends people, and we don't know how to allow them, or put it this way, when other people offend us, we don't know how to receive it when people express their forgiveness.
And the biggest challenge is forgiving yourself.
Oh my goodness.
That's the biggest challenge.
I tell you,
forgiving
I needed
yourself.
to hear that.
Yes.
I really needed
because
to hear
like we said earlier, we're not perfect and we're going to make mistakes in every walk of life.
Yes.
But we just have to know that God is with us and that we can give ourselves room to make mistakes.
Why is forgiving yourself? I think that's even harder.
Most
forgiving
definitely.
other people.
Yes, it is.
Because I think sometimes if we can't forgive ourselves, we don't even know how to forgive other people.
That's a key point. That is a key point. It's like, because we are so hard on ourselves and we have to feel like we have to dot every I and cross every T all the time, but we're not going to. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to do things that's not right. We're going to have to ask for forgiveness time and time and time again, but you just have to know that we are in a place of a blessing if we can forgive.
And I think another thing that makes it hard, and I'm interested to hear from you, is people confuse forgiveness with forgetfulness.
Oh, no. You're right. There are two separate things, and you're exactly right, because just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you forget, because some of the acts that were against you, you won't forget. You know what I'm saying? You just have to know that, okay, I can remember, but forgive you at the same time. And don't harbor unforgiveness in your heart, but just know that I'm forgiving you. And also, forgiveness doesn't mean you have to be in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can forgive someone.
From a distance.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
Right?
Forgive from a distance. Yes, I like that.
I like that too. And I also, I wonder if it's okay to mention, are we talking about the novel that you...
Oh, yeah,
okay.
that's
okay.
fine.
And the reason I want to mention that, because you told me, can we talk about... Like,
yes,
okay.
most definitely.
You told me that it was about a sexual assault experience. And I'm assuming, was there any type of forgiveness in this book?
Oh, yes. And it's like, when I just finally released the forgiveness, it was hard because I was holding on to it because the pain was so real. The pain is real. And it was like, okay, God, are you serious? I have to forgive this person after what they did to me? And yes, you do. Because forgiveness didn't only hurt me as a child.
It hurt.
But it just hurt, period. You know what I'm saying? It's going to hinder you from reaching your full potential if you hold on to it.
And that was so brave what you just did, because it wasn't until now that I realized the person in the novel was you. I just thought you were like randomly writing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But I've been very vocal about this on my show as well. So I'm also a survivor of a sexual assault. And I tell you, some of the things that people will say, you know, that will kind of make sometimes we can say things that are actually even worse than the assault. I've had people say, get over it. I've had people say,
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad. Look how many people are worse. Or look where you are now. I'm glad it positioned me to do this type of work, but I wish I didn't have to learn that way.
Exactly. I would have chose another test.
Yes. So how can you speak to someone who is struggling in that area of just, their feelings are valid. They have been, and and things are wrong. And a lot of times, and this is black, white, purple, yellow, blue, a lot of times we don't even believe the people. A lot of times the person is a respectable person in the community. So we're like, no, Uncle Johnny could never do that, Sometimes it's a parent.
Yes.
Or a loved one.
Yes.
I'm going to say this real quickly because I say it every time I get a chance. But most sexual assault that happens to children happens by a loved one.
Yes.
Or someone that you trust. It is not a stranger. So how does a person who is in a situation like that forgive, especially when they don't feel like, well, for one, when they don't feel like it, right? But for two, when the people in their environment is, it is a little bit easier to forgive someone if they say, I'm sorry.
Yes.
But I can be honest.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's a hard one, doctor. That is a hard one. But it's like everyone is different. There are no two people that are the same. And what worked for me may not work for you. Your approach may be different. And I address that in my book about forgiveness. You just have to be patient, for one, patient with yourself, and just patient to know that you can work through your feelings on your own time. Like I said, it's no manual that says, okay, you do this, and this, and you'll be released forgiveness. But no, you just have to just test different stuff, do different things to figure out what helps you move from one place to the next. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. How can a person, and this might be a little specific, but how does a person recognize when they are struggling with unforgiveness?
I think it shows up in everything in your life. You may not know it, but I think, like for me, it was like I had a kind of self-righteous attitude. It was like, oh, what you did to me. But I wasn't considering what I was doing to myself by not releasing forgiveness. Just take it one day at a time. And that might sound like a cliche, but for real, you have to take one day at a time. You have to.
Is there anything that you wish Black families knew about forgiveness?
A lot of times they think that, like I said, the process, they don't embrace the process. They just have to know that it is a process. It's not going to be an overnight thing. You have to do the work and just know that you can release forgiveness in your life. You can. Regardless of what society said, regardless of what your friends say, regardless of what different people tell you, you can forgive and you can let the past go.
Where do we as a community struggle the most, and what can we learn from it?
I would say communication, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's with your loved ones. We just don't communicate. We do not communicate. We don't communicate. We don't. And what was the second part of your question?
Well, and just what can we learn from it?
What can we learn from it?
To communicate.
I think we just have to just trust more and just know that, your feelings may not be received well all the time, but they're your feelings.
They are.
And you can express them and you can feel the way you want to feel. And just communicate. Because how do I know how you feel unless you communicate that to me?
Yes, I don't know if this episode has been released at the time that this will be released, but I did an episode on cutting people off.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I think we have a very toxic perspective about that because this 2020, I mean, if you ain't doing for me what I need you to do, I ain't got to deal with it, right? And that's supported by our cultural norms, that's supported by our society, it's supported generationally. We see it on TV, it's on social media all the time, but yet as a therapist, I get all these clients talking about I'm lonely.
Wow. Wow.
I don't have no friends. I'm not married. I want to be in a relationship. I don't know how to connect with people. And I'm like, well, you might want to try a little bit more forgiveness and a little bit less cutting people off every time something doesn't rub you the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do we know when we need to forgive? We always need to forgive.
Yes.
It sounds like.
Yes.
So where do we know when we need to forgive and maintain closeness with that person and forgive from a distance?
That's a hard one, Doctor. It is. I'll just say, just take it. Like I said, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it's the truth. You just have to take every situation is different. Every situation is going to be different. So you just have to take it situation by situation and just do all that you can do to rectify any discord among you and someone else.
We're going to talk about your books a little bit at the end of the show.
Okay.
But I'd like to know if you had any resources on the top of your mind that you think could help Black families.
Definitely
to forgive.
Send a therapist. Definitely. Yeah. Seriously, I mean, that's something that the Black community don't embrace as well. We don't feel like outside help or professional help can benefit us, and which is wrong. We have to just embrace all that is out there to help us, because the goal is getting better.
Yes, it is. It is. I love that. Seeing a therapist. So we're still developing our directory, but we will be having Black therapists list their profiles soon.
That's great. That's great.
Yes. Is there anything that you've read or listened to recently, again, aside from your resources, that could also help Black families forgive?
Well, I would say I look at a lot of Christian TV and inspirational stuff, and that works for me, but that may not work for everybody, because everybody may not be in that vein. But you just, like I said, you just have to find your way, and your way may not look like my way, and my way may not look like your way, but just find your way.
Whatever works.
Exactly.
Is there a myth about forgiveness that you can address real quickly?
A myth. Oh boy, I would say that you can live productively without forgiveness. That people think that I don't have to forgive you. You know, I don't like you.
That's so true. That's exactly what I'm saying, because when you're cutting people off, you're not forgiving them.
Exactly.
And then you're miserable and, like I said, trying to find me, talking to me. Yeah. So, yeah, we definitely need to get familiar with forgiveness if you want to live your best life.
Yes.
Of all the things in particular, is there just one thing that really stands out that you want Black people to understand?
Yeah, trust yourself. I think that's something that we don't do. We believe in other people and we seek other people, but we need to trust ourselves and trust our feelings and just move to know that we can live a better life.
Love it. And sometimes that's hard to do.
It is. It's
especially
hard.
in trauma people.
Yeah.
Who've been told that their feelings don't matter, that they don't matter, that they're not important. All right, Patricia, this is a time in the show that we're going to go to a segment called What's Good. So What's Good basically includes a hypothetical situation.
Okay.
Where I just throw something out that one of our clients could be going through, and then I would ask you advice for how you would approach it.
Oh boy.
Okay. No, you got this.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Meet Donna. Donna is in a marriage for over 14 years. She knew she wanted to have kids, but after trying for 7 years, just decided that children were not in the plan for her. However, until recently, Donna has been happily married. However, she just learned that her husband has been unfaithful and has a child with another woman.
Wow.
After careful consideration, she shows that marriage cannot progress, and she wants to be cordial with her husband because they've been married for so long. She knows that in order to do this, she needs to forgive him, but she just doesn't know how. Do you have any advice for her?
Oh boy. Yeah, like I said earlier, she has to be true to herself. Her feelings matter, and her husband hurt her deeply. So she has to realize that her feelings count and that she can forgive him, but it's going to be on her own terms.
Yeah.
And like I said, there isn't a manual that says, okay, do this, and this to forgive. She just have to work through her feelings and be true to herself.
Very good. Very good. And a great resource to do that is, as you stated, getting a therapist, but doing some writing, as you have done. Yes. Well, Patricia, before I let you go, can you tell our guests a little bit about where they can find you and get some of your resources?
Oh, yes. My website is edifyingyou.com, and that is edifying, and you is spelled out YOU.com. And they can just follow me there, and they will be able to find out the different projects and their release dates and stuff like that.
Very good. Awesome. And you have 3 of your books so far there.
Yes.
Okay.
They can order. They're not physically in a bookstore, but you can order online, Amazon,
Got it. Awesome. Well, it has been a pleasure having you today.
Wow, it's been a pleasure being here. It really has.
Awesome. Well, thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And thank you for inspiring our audience on forgiveness.
Yes, thank you so much.
Take care.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Black Marriage and Family Therapy Matters podcast, where we connect Black families to Black therapists. Since you've listened all the way through, come on in and join the family. If you haven't done so yet, please join our free community where we offer weekly trainings and monthly giveaways. We can be found on Facebook under the Black Marriage and Families Matter Facebook group. And since you're serious about joining our family, we also invite you to join our All In campaign, which signifies your commitment to go all in, not only for yourself, but in helping us reach more people by downloading this podcast wherever you are listening to it, leaving us a review, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. This really helps us reach more people and change more lives. After all, Dr. Martin Luther King once said, we can all get more done together than we can apart. With that said, I want to encourage you to share this episode with just 3 other people who you think might also benefit from our community and what we are offering, with the hopes that all of you can join our All In campaign. When you're done, simply click the link All In campaign in the bio and receive a free copy of my course entitled Goodbye Toxicity, which is valued at $297. This course will help you to work through some of the difficult experiences that arise in most of our relationships, and it's completely free to you with your commitment to join our All In campaign. We look forward to connecting with you every Monday and Wednesday. Thanks for listening.